just outside of Detroit, Michigan in Dearborn. And we are the Glass Academy. And we got Oliver bringing us a punty right now, folks. We're gonna knock this puppy off. We just blew it into that custom iron mold, which is pretty cool. Look at that.
That's really cool looking. The people, we didn't have any audio to start because I didn't put the audio button on. It's going to be a ridiculously incredible show tonight, folks. We've got Oliver on the show. We got Chris.
Howdy,
we got
everybody.
myself, Jacob. Michelle's behind the camera. We are also unveiling our brand new membership. You today can become a member. We're going to get into that more later in the show. For now, we had a backup plan. If we blew into this mold and things turned out totally hairy or smooth, if it didn't work out, we were going to jump right into a shot glass because that's what we got featured on the table tonight. But considering that the texture is super cool, Chris is going to continue to pull this out and sculpt it into
I don't know. I was thinking shot glass, but now I'm thinking maybe something else.
wow.
Let's do this. Watch this, guys.
Look at the way the glass is being cut, folks. That's 2,000 degree glass. If I had to make an educated guess,
But you're cutting the wrong way.
something funky's going on here. If I had to make an educated guess, that glass, when he was cutting it and the texture and the way that was cutting, the way you saw it go down just there, that was probably about, you know,
Yeah, we do know.
Temperature-wise,
But you just tell us.
1620's my guess.
I'm thinking maybe even a little hotter than that because it was pretty buttery.
You think?
Yeah, it was,
I heard the sound of it though. I heard it was like, whoosh,
it was like,
oh, that was about a 200 degree difference in sound there.
that's right.
Well, if you guys take a peek behind us, we got our colors laid out for the night. That's all glass with metals and minerals melted into it. We got our featured table back there, shot glasses and sheep. And we're going to be going into some serious detail tonight on some amazing, amazing product.
If you guys are longtime watchers, we got some colors out on the table that either we haven't used on the show in a very, very long time or maybe at all.
Oh, yeah. It's true. Oliver did pick the entire color palette of the evening. Look at this Joker hat special.
It's more like a special
Banana
flower
peel?
vase.
It's actually a really elegant curve there. Beautiful to get that nice swoosh out of glass. So the camera's going to be tossed around. We've got some really cool pieces we're planning on making here tonight. And because we're down one member and there's so many new unveilings going on here, any piece, like this one in particular,
The Joker
is not going to
special.
be put up on the website for sale tonight. If you guys are interested in it, we'll quote you a price and you guys email us.
That's a tasty one.
That's exactly right.
Super nice.
Super nice.
All right, well, I mean, now we got something to do with that mold because I think it's a really pretty shape.
I think it's gorgeous.
And I love the way the
Gorgeous.
bottom got so thick.
Yeah.
So, Oliver, could you bring me a GA stamp?
Perfect. The shears are nice and sharp.
He's got the GA stamp hot and ready to go. Here.
All right, guys, this is going in the annealing oven. One last shot. If you're interested in it, email Jake through the contact page. That's a sweet piece, a little lily bud vase with the GA stamp on it, all out of crystal.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
I'm going into the green here. Now, I do believe this is not Baby Yoda green, but it's very close to Baby Yoda green.
It is darn close to Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
I
Really
mean,
close.
That's borderline Dunkel green.
Since it's a shot glass night, we're gonna go into a one and done shot glass here. Look at that. Oh, I've got 2 coats of green. I just put a beautiful copper ruby, a deep Merlot color in the crevices here. What do you think about that?
Listen, that's exactly what I wanted you to do.
However, the color pattern is not over yet. I'm gonna squish this together so there's just lines of that ruby. And then I'm gonna twist the heck out of it and then stuff it back in the mold. We call this the basket weave super double stuff. Blow real light. Oh, that's looking good. Good. Now that's still super hot and moving.
You want a little bit more air?
No, I was just showing off how it's super hot and moving. Look at this. Oh baby, we got some action going on. It's almost so fine and detailed that you might not be able to see it through the camera. But I'm gonna twist it one more time, tuck it all together, and then gather over it. And this is actually gonna be a style which will show when we do these shots that's encased in clear, and it's like the new style of rocks glass that Chris has started making here.
Are you gonna gather over this?
I'm gonna gather over it. This is all color prep. Blow real light. Beautiful. See that clear thickness on the bottom?
Yes.
That's what I'm going for now. This
Okay.
is the slammer thickness. I got my gather here. There.
Jake's tearing it up right now. He's got some really cool color. He just encased it. This beautiful color pattern.
Give me a quick
The
squish.
dune worm color pattern with clear crystal.
The dune worm shooter. Just real light. That's good. Look at that color pattern. A little squisher. A little bit of air. Good on the air. Less squish.
He's thinning out the top of the glass right now, guys. Shot glasses are nice if they're thin on the top.
But I'm gonna touch it up here one more time. I just beeswaxed the jacks again. I lubricated them so that I can go back on the outside like I was just doing with a little more fluidity, folks. Watch this. Oh, they're still scratching. There it is, a green shot glass with like a bloody Merlot accent color.
We got shot glasses.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Next, we gotta talk about the sheep. Do you want to make a shot glass before we get into
Yeah, let's do one
sheepland?
more shot glass in
Yes,
case
I
people...
do.
Start working with the herd and the flock.
All right.
For those of you that are new to the show, this is our studio. That's our furnace. That is molten magma.
I have a question. You want to answer live?
Sure. Technical question. Technical question.
The blue light special. The technical question, the blue light special.
Okay, a question comes from Elizabeth. What happens to the glass when you cut off a piece? Do you reuse any of the glass?
Well, that's just a good old question, and I'll preface. Ooh, look at that. So I'm going to start with a little bit of a different answer, which stems over to our Michigan room behind us. That's going to be our new bar. We're still working on implementing into the studio, and we can have events in here and all kinds of good mojo and great action, and how we like to recycle and reuse as much as possible here in the studio. And you can see it all around our studio. You can see it in our displays, the things that Michelle picks out to utilize as display items. And you can also see it in the glass we use, because all these metals and minerals in here, copper, blue, we got iron making green, red made from gold, and all the other millions of colors out there. Tin makes white. We're putting those colors onto the glass, and About 30% of all the glass that we use either drops on the floor or stays on the pipe or gets flung over our shoulder. And so that glass will be melted down a second time in our second furnace way over there. Chris is doing something crazy here. You see him put a hole in the bottom and now he's gathering over it again. We use a lot of recycled glass, folks, and we've got a gradient of different blues based on what colors were melted down in it. So if you take a look on the wall, I'm gonna step around Chris so I'm not in his way here. Would you call that a belly button? I thought that was scarlet. I see aventurine in there though.
Well, there's a
You
little
have
bit
both
of
out?
column A, column B.
Gotcha.
And I got the bling bling going on in this one, folks.
Oh my goodness. Look at that snip work. What do we got going on here, folks? Going back to Handletown.
Oh, I'm holding my breath.
What's up?
Never in your training could you get this close to glass blowing. So there are a lot of glass blowers who actually watch
Wow.
our show to learn new techniques. And by being this close with that great of an angle, really helps you solidify how to do the piece.
Beautiful break there from the punny. If I get down a little lower, you can see that clear transparency on the bottom. We're gonna have to see that color pattern on the annealer reveal. Into the box that goes. 1,000 degrees in there. That's what I'm talking about. Would anyone might have a guess as to why I'm taking this recycled glass with a bubble in it and just hanging out? All right, so now I got 2 layers of a deep sheep black. Now I'm going into the black spots. This will be the first ever sheep sold to the public.
The trick to adding color texture like this onto the piece, guys, putting color on this is to barely flash it and let it harden up so it stays texturous on the surface, because that is the wool texture of the black sheep. I see the sheep's buttock.
Blow real light. This one does have a significantly prominent rear.
Wow, that black color's awesome.
Let's
Pretty sparkly.
put a leg on there.
Put some legs on.
One at a time, recycle with black.
So
We're going-
Oliver's behind Jake getting the recycled glass. He'll stop at the marver and lay on the color, allow it to melt in as he's walking over to the glory hole. A lot of times in glass blowing, you try to be as efficient as possible.
Thank you.
About this
Layering that color on just the core of the glass will begin to warm up that color and melt it in.
Well, these legs are not easy to put on. It took us a long time to figure these out, to get the shaping right, to get them to stand correct. So that is the premium sheep, but honestly, in my opinion, I do think I like the style of the seated sheep
So the other part is Jake's doing the one size. He's really used to that. When you advance the size, there's a lot more to think about.
Yeah, there is.
Where maybe you don't have to flash twice, now you do. You didn't have to flash, or you could get bit. Now you need a little bit of pause between the bits.
I have been studying sheep anatomy at the
You have?
University of Flock. And the sheep professors say, put the legs closer together.
It's running
Yes.
through the grasses of Scotland. And it needs long legs.
Well, we're going to hoovicize
Hoof-a-size.
the tips of them.
Can someone
So they'll
spell
shorten
that
up.
for me? Hoof-a-size.
I'm going to need to torch each one and squish them too, so there's plenty of time to just kick it.
You ready for this?
Sure. All right, Dad, you want to blast? And I'll squish.
And can you tell us why you're doing this?
So that the sheep has hooves and sits flat. There we go.
So I'm trying to heat this up with the torch without burning or boiling the glass. This torch will boil this soda lime glass, guys. I mean, really boil it on the surface. So you got to kind of stay back a little bit and just kind of heat it slowly. Jake's got to make sure that he keeps an overall heat on the body mass and the moil. And the moil is actually this part right here on the pipe, which is starting to get a few little cracks.
I hear Oliver cooling down the pipe over there. Super important on a bigger piece to have a cold punny, because I'm going to need to get more leverage. I'm already kind of having a hard time working this guy around because I got to hold it back here.
He's making them flat so they kind of have like this mushroom thing so he can make the hooves. Then he also has to put this on the table or a wooden paddle to make sure it sits right. Do you guys ever have one of those stools where one leg is shorter or taller and then it always wobbles, or you go to the restaurant and it's kind of wonky? That's kind of what we have to think about, all these steps.
Yeah, I like it when it's heated up nice to the core.
Yeah. Oh, that black is so soft. It was a great call to go with the black sheep.
Look at that thing's looking cool.
Beautiful. That thing is sitting.
If it's got a tail and the head is where the blowpipe
do
is
it.
there,
When you're ready.
how does this thing get punnied up?
Look at that tail.
And then the head too, the same thing has to happen. He has to make sure he doesn't get it so hot that he loses the texture of the color.
Shall we?
What?
That's beautiful. A little stronger than usual on this soft black. Boom!
It's in the belly.
And we're going to cover that punny mark right up with a GA stamp when we're complete though. But here it goes. And this is a big old sheep, but when you vibrate it just right, you hear it make that noise and then it pops right off of the pipe.
I like it.
You got it, Oliver? Yeah. That's just looking great, dude. Now, it's a beautiful thing that we used this black just now because it allowed us to torch the feet. It was really soft, so it was heating up a little quicker than maybe white or especially any kind of orange or yellow or red would. We also didn't lose our color with the torch. However, when you go to reheat this, like Michelle was saying earlier, black is the softest color. And you heat things, I mean, depending on how thin it is, sometimes half as much as you would another color. So I got to be careful, like Michelle was saying, to really not overblast this. More shorter heats. It's like doing really thin work. More shorter heats, not a long one. You'll lose all your texture. Notice how we switched the axis, like Michelle was saying. It wasn't a punty from directly on the back. Here goes the head, folks. Getting the head proportional has been an interesting journey. Little torchy poo. I'll take one flash to equalize, and then I'm going to sculpt it right into a sheep-like situation.
That body's hollow, but it's still real thick, but you'll hear us say equalizing. Equalizing the mass of glass, you guys, is very important. Like the head right now that he's sculpting on and shaping and turning into the whole head itself. is a lot hotter than the rest of the piece, and we need to let that solid piece, the core of it, get completely hard without getting too hard, so that we can put the eyes on it, put the ears on it and such. And if we didn't let it stabilize and equalize and become the same temperature as the whole piece when he was putting eyes on it and when he's pressing in the pupils and things like that, the piece actually will misshape the head. So it's really important to equalize this thing.
Yeah.
All right, we got some ears going on.
Taking one more heat and I'll be ready for you.
Chris has a super long piece of color in his hands. It's a white. It's really soft.
There's a
He's
nick on
preheating
that edge
it.
right there.
Thanks.
With the torch so that they can put it.
Turn him down so his head, one's eyes down. There you go.
You flip the torch the other way and I'll... Nice.
This is the black dot, the pupil. One wrong move and you can have that sheep cross-eyed, and then everyone's gonna be like, dude, I don't want a cross-eyed sheep.
This guy got it on there good. It was a great stick. Look at that. Because I wasn't able to make them on our regular sheep, they came out round, and I thought that a pointier ear might look better. Chris was pointing out, and I think I agree, that they're not really meant to have pointy ears. I'll torch and cut the next one. They'll both be hot enough. I'll bend them down a little bit, and I think we got our sheep. That looks better, I do think. Real sheep. Should we knock them off? So now what I'm gonna do is hit the pipe with our bonker. Woohoo!
Oh, my belly. You're putting hot glass in my belly.
The sheep brand here. Cane is to be looked at vertically or
From the side.
from the side.
Yeah.
Right.
Marinis are to be looked at from that
Upside
perspective.
down.
From the ends.
Right through there.
And
That's the difference.
the trick about making marinis, for me, is I want to get multiple layers. And I just did some the other day for a custom piece I made that had like 9 layers. And if you think about 9 layers, you need 9 gathers. And it's like folding a dollar bill in half. You know, what do they say?
Right.
You can't fold a dollar bill in half something like 7 times. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah. 8, I think. 8.
Well, I don't know which one it is. We'll try it later, everybody. But I'm just trying to get as many gathers as I can. So what I do is I coated this with purple. I'm going to take another gather, and I'm going to strip off as much clear as I can over here. And then I'm going to come over and coat it with my other colors. And I've got 3 colors. So that means if I want to get a couple of colors twice, all the colors twice, 3 colors, that's 6 layers I'm going to have to do, which is going to be pretty tight. So watch how this goes down. I get a nice light little clear coating, and then I draw that off. Look at that, just so there's a tiny little skin. Now leave that there, and I come over here, and I flash it, and I add my next color. And I'm going to do that 7 times, hopefully. In every color, I'm gonna do a beautiful chartreuse green, and then I'm doing white in between the green and purple. So it'll be
Okay.
alternating purple, white, green, purple, white, green. And as I'm doing it, I'm taking it down a little narrower so that it doesn't get too big too quick. So same thing again, I'm gonna do it again. When you're working the hot glass, it's all about timing. I mean, all about timing and really getting in there quick, you know?
So far we've got purple, white, green, white.
I've got purple, white, green, white.
You notice Chris cooled down the pipe here, and that angle there, it helps having the tank a little bit lower when you're going for that move there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's gonna be 7 layers. 1 more layer of white and 1 layer of green, and we'll see how big it is. That might just be 7 layers, but that's a lot.
It's easier said than done, folks.
Just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Nice move.
So this will be the last gather. We're gonna shape it up and we're gonna draw it out. It all kind of happens pretty quick. So this is the exciting part of it, guys. I don't need to swing it out. I'm gonna let it fall out on its own.
That extra clear glass on the bottom, he's gonna cut off. We don't normally make big guys like this.
Oh yeah, there, neck it, and then on the end too. That's gonna be good enough for that, Jake, but get the end if you can, just so I can take it down and I can pull it. I'm turning back.
Yep.
I'm gonna have you flatten it now one more time.
Notice the
how- so
muscles
he's-
on his arms, they're really cranking.
Working the foot pedal there, pushing and the leverage down so we can get this thing flopping and flipping. What do you want?
This is not something you can do 10 of these a day. Your arms will wear out.
Maybe you get up on the bench, Jake.
Where's
Nice and small. You want to shield his hand, somebody?
I'll take it into 3 pieces, you know what I mean? It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
That's a beautiful pull. How even that pulled? You want to neck it up there at all anymore, or is it
Stay
good?
there. About here.
Yeah.
So they got to break it in these little sections to get it in the annealer. And the easiest way to do that is why it's hot. Now it's going to be a dance.
Well, that'll break off on its own, and I'll be able to show you guys.
You might
So,
need
Jake,
it.
I'll take that. You get the gloves, and I'll hand that to you each piece.
Okay.
Ugh. A long one, folks.
That's a long one. My goodness. Thanks, dude.
All right, Oliver handed the gloves to Jake.
What, are you
they
playing
gonna
hockey
maneuver
now?
this?
So Oliver could probably put a little water
Oliver,
and tap
you put
it.
water on that end one.
It feels like you could break all 3 and walk them all to
All
the
right,
annealer.
Jake, take that end one. Oliver, oh, let him get that one in there. So you just take that and put
Okay.
her away. All right.
Nice.
So looking at that, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with the outside edge. But that's the marinis. Now you guys are gonna see the one, I'm gonna take one cut off there and polish that thing out beautifully.
We're here on the annealer reveal showing off this Tuesday's Gathering Point products. It was an incredible show. It was a shot glass show and it was a sheep reveal show. So maybe right off the bat we show what we were selling on the table here. Our warmer-upper right here is only available, and I don't even know if we mentioned it on the show, but going up warmer-uppers and they're one-of-a-kind, one-and-done specialty pieces are only going to be available to members. It's a beauty. So the annealer reveal is going to be all about showing off these products. This piece is a pretty interesting one. The tulip face, Joker head style, really gorgeous, crystal clear. It's a pretty elegant shape. It was interesting because it wasn't so sharp. They were laid in there in like, I mean, it was a bunch of individual like 35-degree pieces of metal all welded together on the bottom, and if I remember correctly, they were open on the edge. Go find it real quick. This is a crazy situation. You guys might get overwhelmed, but we're gonna go into Chris's mold collection area.
I hope Chris doesn't see this.
Yeah.
He gets so protective over these. Hold on to your britches.
incredible. Wrote up a sign so that he could have a slot for things he's working on. Chris's projects, things that, you know, maybe the dust collectors and the other things and whatnot, and then the miscellaneous items. So it was kind of Chris's shelf. Chris does a lot of side projects and a lot of installation pieces. He does a lot of metal work as well. And he also works hand in hand with the DDC, the Detroit Design Center, which is my uncles, Israel and Eric Nordine. And they will oftentimes send him over a mold like, what's a cool looking one, like this, and be like, we need 25 of these in red, green, and purple. And we're gonna put them in our 30-foot tall sculpture, and it needs to be done in one day. And that's Chris's specialty, the old, let's make it happen right now. And he gets in here at like 10 p.m. and he casts them all out and hands them over to those guys, and the sculpture turns out beautiful. The two molds from Tuesday's show, this is the one we were talking about. And it's actually just a really cool looking mold. A handmade mold, welded together here on the bottom, hollow on the bottom. And so there's open facets, so there's not only is there points coming from this edge, which I'd say is about a 45-degree angle, but then maybe our regular molds over there are more like a 20-degree, you know, hard cut situation. Yeah. But they're also open, so that the glass is blowing into there, into the outer edge, and it's blowing into the edge there, so it's like a double rib mold buster up situation. Next was the shot glass. It's kind of looking like a ruby red thread. It's like it looks, all those little pieces of red look like the ends of a cut thread or like a loose thread or something coming unwound. They're super cool and detailed. This is a pretty cool style worm on the one Chris did. Notice with the black, look at how soft and juicy the connection got between those pieces as they got squished back on themselves. Really cool. They're not completely hollow except for the front one and the back one because he was pushing them back on themselves so much. The largest sheep to date, and a black sheep at that. The black on black, super smooth. No worries about the strength of this leg connection there. Melded together. It's a beautiful situation, and that's a tough one with these sheep. They're so texturous, you want to put the legs on and they don't want to stick just right. So that was something that took many a sheep to figure out. We got the ears down really good. The head size, I think, is proportionate. It's got great texture. The tail is up, which doesn't mean that it's using the bathroom. It means that it's excited and it's really, just bounding around as sheep do. Finally, we got to making this giant marini, and although it might not have been the most interesting piece to put onto a live show, it was pretty informative for those of you that are and have been here for a long time to see something different, a new style of blowing glass.